Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Just a note, Tycho is not with us today. So we will be proceeding as best we can with the help of Bluetooth speakers. But we will be just fine. And thank you, Teague, for playing just to get us started this morning. So everyone, please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing our gathering hymn number 61, Lo, the Earth Awakes Again. I can play it on, or we can play it either way. Thank you, Dan. I didn't know who would be here, so I thought I'd better just be prepared for all of it.
From the winter's bond and pain, hallelujah. Bring relief and fall and sway, hallelujah. To adorn this happy day, hallelujah. Once again the word comes true, hallelujah. All the earth shall be made new, hallelujah. Love thy cold desire, hallelujah. Spring and gladness are before, hallelujah. Changed and morning into grace, hallelujah. And for dirges anthems raised, hallelujah. Our spirits soar and sing, hallelujah. Our hearts sing with the spring, hallelujah.
We should invite them over more often. They're pretty good. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Oxford. I'm Wendy Fringer, and I'll be leading the service today. We are a congregation in which lay people like me share leadership of our services with our halftime minister, Reverend Sarah Osborne. If you're interested in getting involved with services, even if it's just lighting the chalice, or picking a reading or helping us out with the grief, gratitude, and growth occasionally, please reach out to me or to anyone on the board. We'd love to have you involved. And in fact, we will have our April 15th meeting of the Sunday Services Committee coming up in just another week from this week. So you can look on the hall calendar, find the Zoom link and join us if you're interested. Some announcements. This one's from Gail Stratton. Many of you have heard about the Amigos group helping to support Spanish-speaking families in our area. One of the breadwinners of a family with 3 small children is on trial. Our own Sarah Schneidman is defending this man, and Sarah says she has a strong case to defend him. Sarah says it's very helpful for people to be present in the courtroom to support him and his family. Last week, the plaintiff, the person bringing the charges, did not appear in court, and the judge gave the DA 1 more week to find him. If found, the trial will proceed. If not found, the judge will dismiss the case. If you're able, please come to the courthouse on the square Wednesday at 1 o'clock. Please arrive at 12:45. If you think you can come, please let Gail Stratton know, as she can forward information about the case, including if it will be dismissed. And a big thanks to everyone who showed up last week. Thank you. That's how we do here. A couple of other announcements, speaking of people not showing in court. Lauren Stokes, who did appear in court, will be speaking. She and her attorney will be at the law school Tuesday, April 7th at 5 o'clock in room 1078. You can find that announcement posted over there. I'll drop it over here. But if you're interested in following Lauren Stokes' case, it's an employment case that involves First Amendment rights for public employees. Please make sure you're there. Also, the Division of Student Affairs invites us to join for a discussion that matters on affordable housing. It's a campus and community debate, Tuesday, April 7th, same time, 5:30 to 8. We'll divide and conquer. It's fine. There are plenty of us, so we got big mouths. It's good. And there will be a meal. It'll be at Oxford University United Methodist Church. And again, you can register here. There's a nice little QR sign out here on the bulletin board, and I'll put this over by coffee so that you can't miss these 2 things when you go get your coffee. All right. I think that's about it other than this. Okay, there are still some auction events services available. If you look in your order of service, you'll see these wonderful, fabulous things that you can do still. And I encourage you to follow up with our office and make sure you book yourself a spot. They're all going to be great. All right. Now, let's enter into the service. Our call to worship this morning is adapted from a longer piece by Elizabeth Barish Brown. It's entitled, "It Will Be Enough." And pardon me if I get the Hebrew part wrong, I tried. In ancient times, they said, Dayenu. It would have been enough to have been spared after the plagues. It would have been enough to have been freed of slavery. It would have been enough to have had food in the desert. Now we question, when will it be enough again? Dayenu. It would have been enough. It will be enough again. If the story of Passover is told and teaches us how to live in this time, it will be enough. If the stories of our ancestors bring us hope for tomorrow, it will be enough. If we join together in remembering that we all come from people who have survived again and again, it will be enough this year as it is each and every year. Dayenu. It will be enough that we are together today. Come, let us worship together. And now it's time for the moment in our service where we greet one another. As a gesture of holy hospitality, we invite you to share a moment with the folks around you. Extend a hand in peace, offer a hug, or perhaps a word. And as a practice of consent, if you would prefer not to engage in this ritual, simply put your hand over your heart and folks will honor your choice. So now please turn to the person on your left and on your right and briefly greet your neighbor. Greetings, neighbor. Good morning. I planted in my garden. It was so much fun. Some perennials my friend gave me. She gave me some black-eyed Susans. So I put them in my garden. I will. They grow real well through division. Well, I'll keep you. Yes, and now I'll invite Susan forward to help me with our chalice. With the love of community sparking among us, let us light the sacred symbol of our faith, our flaming chalice. And our chalice lighting today comes from the poet Rosario Murillo. I'm going to plant a heart in the earth, water it with love from a vein. I'm going to praise it with the push of muscle and care for it in the sound of all dimensions. I'm going to leave a heart in the earth so it may grow and flower. A heart that throbs with longing, that adores everything green, that will be strength and nourishment for birds, that will be the sap of plants and mountains. We light this chalice with the intention that we will, as a community, plant a heart in the earth, and that will be a source of strength for years to come. All right. We can do this. We're going to sing, and we're going to be even louder than they are this time. We're going to rise in body or spirit, and we're going to sing hymn 101, Abide with Me. All right. Is that ready? They did a good job, those Christians. They just didn't know the UU words. I think we can call it. Tycho is sick today, so I only had a few minutes to prepare, and I couldn't find a UU version, so y'all just bear with me. I think we're good. That's okay. Thank you. All right, you may be seated. You know, we tried. Oh, thank you. Me and my careless YouTubing. Do your homework, kids. So this is obviously a service where we are marking both Passover and Easter and the beginning of spring. So I'd like to invite my son, Sebastian, forward. He's going to read to us from Exodus, chapter 16. It's a little bit long, but I think it sets things up well.
Yeah. Do I would like the title?
Just read the whole thing.
The manna and the quails. The whole Israelite community set out from Elim, and on the 15th day of the second month after they had left Egypt, they came to the desert of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai. There in the desert, they all complained to Moses and Aaron and said to them, "We wish that the Lord had killed us in Egypt. There we could at least sit down and eat meat and as much other food as we wanted. But you have brought us out into this desert to starve us all to death." The Lord said to Moses, "Now I am going to cause food to rain down from the sky for all of you. The people must go out every day and gather enough for that day. In this way, I can test them to find if they will follow my instructions. On the sixth day, they are to bring in twice as much as usual and prepare it." So Moses and Aaron said to all the Israelites, "This evening you will know that it was the Lord who brought you out of Egypt. In the morning you will see the dazzling light of the Lord's presence. He has heard your complaints against him, yes, against him, because we are only carrying out his instructions." Then Moses said, "It is the Lord who will give you meat to eat in the evening and as much bread as you want in the morning, because he has heard how much you have complained against him. When you complain against us, you are really complaining against the Lord." Moses said to Aaron, "Tell the whole community to come and stand before the Lord, because he has heard their complaints." As Aaron spoke to the whole community, they turned toward the desert, and suddenly the dazzling light of the Lord appeared in a cloud. The Lord said to Moses, "I have heard the complaints of the Israelites. Tell them that at twilight they will have meat to eat, and in the morning they will have all the bread they want. Then they will know that I, the Lord, am their God." In the evening, a large flock of quails flew in, enough to cover the camp, and in the morning there was dew all around the camp. When the dew evaporated, there was something thin and flaky on the surface of the desert. It was as delicate as frost. When the Israelites saw it, they didn't know what it was and asked each other, "What is it?" Moses said to them, "This is the food the Lord has given you to eat. The Lord has commanded that each of you is to gather as much of it as he needs, 2 quarts for each member of his household." The Israelites did this, some gathering more, others less. When they measured it, those who gathered much did not have too much, and those who gathered less did not have too little. Each had gathered just what he needed. Moses said to them, "No one is to keep any of it for tomorrow." But some of them did. But some of them did not listen to Moses and saved part of it. The next morning it was full of worms and smelled rotten, and Moses was angry with them. Every morning each one gathered as much as he needed, and when the sun grew hot, what was left on the ground melted. On the sixth day they gathered twice as much food, 4 quarts for each person. All the leaders of the community came and told Moses about it. And he said to them, "The Lord has commanded that tomorrow is a holy day of rest, dedicated to him. Bake today what you want to bake and boil what you want to boil. Whatever is left should be put aside and kept for tomorrow." As Moses had commanded, they kept what was left until the next day, did not spoil or get worms in it. Moses said, "Eat this today, because today is the Sabbath, a day of rest dedicated to the Lord, and you will not find any food outside the camp. You must gather food for 6 days, but on the seventh day, the day of rest, there will be none." On the seventh day, some of the people went out to gather food, but they did not find any. And then the Lord said to Moses, "How much longer will you people refuse to obey my commands? Remember that I, the Lord, have given you a day of rest, and that is why on the sixth day I will always give you enough food for 2 days. Everyone is to stay where he is on the seventh day and not leave his home." So the people did no work on the seventh day. The people of Israel called the food manna, and it was like a small white seed and tasted like thin cakes made with honey. Moses said, "The Lord has commanded us to save some manna to be kept for our descendants so that they can see the food which he gave us to eat in the desert when he brought us out of Egypt." Moses said to Aaron, "Take a jar, put 2 quarts of manna in it, and place it in the Lord's presence to be kept for our descendants." As the Lord had commanded Moses, Aaron put it in front of the covenant box so that it should be kept. The Israelites ate manna for the next 40 years until they reached the land of Canaan, where they settled. The standard dry measurement then in use equaled 20 quarts.
$40. Yeah. So the manna that fell every night, manna that had rules about when and how it could be gathered, how it could be stored, manna to be kept in a jar in the presence of the Lord for our descendants. This is the story of ancestors. Each of you has an egg under your chair, or if you're in the back, you may need to hunt for an egg, which we have some in the front. If you don't, we can arrange to get you some spares. I have some in the back. Don't do anything with that egg yet. The minute you know you've got it, I know you want to do something. Don't do anything. Just get an egg. Okay. In a moment, I will ask you to open your egg. Okay? When you open it, you will find a piece of candy which you are to leave there. Do not touch the candy. This is the first test. Are you gonna eat that manna and store it, go off script and do things you're not supposed to? Or are you gonna follow the rules? Okay. And what we're gonna do, your job when you open that egg is gonna be to put something else in there. So I'm gonna ask, Sebastian, would you do this for me? I'm gonna ask you to take this basket and grab a card out of it and grab a pencil or a pen. Take the card and you can start passing it if you would. And then I'll play a little bit of music while you think. And what you're gonna do with that card and that pen is you are gonna write something. Please make it something from your head that you want to share with someone else. It could be a half-remembered song lyric. It could be a paraphrase of a famous quote. It could be something that's just on your heart that you wish to say. What I want it to be, most of all, is a piece of wisdom or insight that you have gathered in your life, something that you have held on to that is meaningful to you. An insight or piece of wisdom. Everyone in here has some, even the youngest among us. And if you were here last week and you stayed for the poetry reading at the end of the service, you'll remember Ace's poem, and the monkey said, you can make it, right? Even under difficult circumstances, you can make it. That's a piece of wisdom. We're not going for fancy here. Just something that is valuable that you want to share. Write your well-wish, your wisdom, your insight, your half-remembered quote, whatever, your happy thought, your manna on that piece of card, and then fold it and put it inside your egg. If you roll it, that will work too, but I find the rolling, I experimented, it kind of expands, it makes it a little harder. Folding it in like 4 quarters works really well. So write it, tuck it in with that candy, and close up your egg. All right? So you have a little bit of music so you can think about it. So hold on to your eggs a minute. We're going to collect them. But we're going to do it at the same time as the offering. It is now the time in our service when we will accept our weekly offering. Our collection is split with half going to our monthly Share the Plate designee and half going to support the mission of UUCO. Our Share the Plate recipient this month is the Fuller House. The Fuller Center for Housing is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that seeks to eradicate poverty housing by promoting partnerships with individuals and community groups to build and rehabilitate homes for people in need. So please give generously as you're able. I'll give you instructions. Your eggs, yes, the offering goes in the regular old offering basket. But I'm gonna ask my faithful assistant Sebastian to come around with an Easter basket to collect the Easter eggs, okay? Let's not mix and match. Yep, you can drop your pens in with either of the baskets. Leave that candy in there. Don't touch the candy. Yeah, don't touch it. Candy stays. Put your hand in. Oh, we put it in here? Okay. Would you mind if I take a few more eggs to facilitate pickup? On everyone. I'm asking a lot of you today. Thank you, my Easter bunnies. Thank you. All right, we'll get into those later. And yes, there will be candy eventually. Each of our speakers today was asked to create a brief piece of writing about quote unquote their spring. They were told to offer a story of a moment of insight or change in their lives, a moment when what was unknown became known, or when they stepped across some boundary. So now I'd like to introduce the first of today's speakers, Sue Fino. Round of applause for Sue.
So my story is about, my story is about the time that I spent at Kent State University. The story begins in a pencil box factory in Mountainside, New Jersey. Marty and I had both been working at this pencil box factory, and we went out together for the first time. This was in 1966. And Marty told me at that time that he had a plan. And his plan, it was during the time of the draft, so, in Vietnam. And Marty had signed up for, to be in ROTC. And he was planning, we were juniors going into college at this time. We went to different colleges in different states. So he planned on finishing school, and then he wanted to be a psychologist. So it was going to take him 5 years, and he would be on a delay of active duty from the Air Force at this time. And then he would be going into the Air Force for 4 years. This plan took 11 years to implement. Now, sometimes Marty says he is not a planner, but don't believe him. I said, well, okay, I just want to be a teacher. We started going out together and got engaged. In September of 1968, Marty started at Kent State University the graduate program. He had to be a full-time student in order to keep his delay of active duty. We got married in December of 1968, and I moved to Kent, Ohio with him to live in married student housing. It was $90 a month at that time. And I taught at a local public school. I taught sixth grade, mostly math. The kids were fine. I loved that part, but the teachers were another story. They were quite a batch of public school teachers that, in my mind, this was the way it was in a public school. I had grown up in Catholic schools, from grade school, high school, and to colleges. I had nuns and priests, a slew of them. So I was happy to decide to start graduate school during the summer of 1969. And I walked into one of the classes, and that was on experimental math programs. And amazingly, the person who was teaching this class was a Dominican nun, Sister Mary Jane. Whoa, I mean, the people in the class, she didn't have a habit on, but the people in the class were terrified really of her. Because although she didn't have a habit, she had the demeanor of a nun. I actually loved the class, and I asked Sister Mary Jane, were there other classes like this? And she said, well, unfortunately not, but there was a graduate assistantship available for someone to teach math at the Kent State Lab School. Well, of course, I said, I would love to do that. I knew I needed more schooling. So it was really a wonderful year that I spent with the math team. I learned leadership. I learned how to write textbooks. I learned how to do workshops. And as usual, on Monday, May 4th, 1970, we went into our lunchtime math meeting, and there was a commotion outside. We looked out the window, and there was the Ohio National Guard marching down the street in formation with their guns. We were terrified. And a few minutes, well, maybe more than a few minutes later, a couple of minutes later, an administrator ran into our meeting saying there had been a shooting and a killing at Kent State right across the street from us, and the university was shutting down. We were to go home immediately and stay there. It was a very traumatic, scary time. So the university closed, even the library was closed, and we still had, well, we didn't have classes, we had courses to finish. So Marty had to remain a full-time student, and I was a full-time student as well. So we were getting our assignments by mail. They wrote them down, we were to finish them and send them in. One class that I had could be either pass, fail, or have grades. And I decided pass, fail because it was, I thought, my chance to do how I wanted to do the assignments rather than having to go to class and do it piece by piece. So we decided to go to the University of Akron, which was about half an hour or 45 minutes away, to the library every day. And I loved that. This was a tragic time, but it was, for me, a wonderful time because I learned that I liked doing things independently. I liked not having to worry about grades and just turning in the assignments. I realized that this was a good way for me to learn. So when our grades came back, I had an A, and I went to the professor and I said, you know, I wanted pass fail, and he said, well, weren't you willing to accept an A? I said, well, you know, I'm not going to turn it down. But it was it hit me that this was my way of learning independently, and that I didn't need to have a teacher in front of me all the time. Now I would say that I had agency. I was reading in the New York Times just 2 days ago about agency, and I realized, yes, I had agency. And I had leadership skills because I had worked with Sister Mary Jane and the rest of the math team. I knew how to be a member of a team, and I knew how to lead a team. So when we finished our stint with the Air Force, I signed up to get another degree in special education. And then I said, I think I want to start my own business. So I started an educational services business, and I had it for 27 years. So when I came here to Mississippi, I knew that if necessary, I had the skills to be an organizer. But in actual fact, I would rather just be a volunteer, because but between both of those things, it gave me a sense of action, that I was doing something that hopefully could help here and help us here and other people in Mississippi. So that's my story.
Thank you, Sue. So in a moment, I'll play a little bit of music. I'm going to ask Sebastian to come up, and I'm going to play the music. And as we do, some of these eggs are going to come back out into the audience. So if you are one of those who receives an egg, I want you to open it. And yes, you can finally have the candy. And that's not the most important part. And read the message that's on it and seek to connect it to you. Those of you who are still waiting for an egg, I want you to wait in anticipation. Notice what you're thinking about. Maybe reflect on what you put in there. Think about what it is you hope you'll receive, and just notice the absence. So we'll take that and just give it to the first 2 rows. It would have been so much lovelier with Tycho playing, but that's okay. That's okay. So we now enter into prayer, what is on our hearts, and lay it at the altar of community and spirit. I'm going to ask Susan to come forward. Make sure I don't have any others in here. She's living the dream. Using a pebble dropped into a bowl of water to symbolize the ripple effect of the events of our lives upon the larger community, we will now share the grief, gratitude, and moments of growth that have touched our lives since we were last together. Our first pebble is one of joy for our visitors and friends. We offer a warm welcome to you, and we're so happy you're here today. And now I will share the written words of our joys and concerns. This is from Dan and Elaine. We have gratitude for the season of Passover, which we honor with a cup for Elijah, hoping that he will join us. Hear, hear.
Maybe he left out the second part, which is the beauty of Easter and flowers and love.
And the beauty of Easter flowers. We can have another pebble. Thank you, Elaine. Yes, let's do that. And I would add another pebble of joy for the Artemis II mission, which is evidence that we can do things that are amazing together when we want to, and that Americans and Canadians can still be friends. All right. And finally, we drop a pebble into the water for all the grief, gratitude, and growth moments that remain unspoken. All that we hold in our hearts for ourselves, for each other, and for the world is held in this community and by a love that is limitless. Amen and blessed be. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce our second speaker, Allie McClellan, if you would. Thank you.
Hey, y'all. Do what now?
You're taller than I am. Turns
Is
out.
that better? Is it better, Mary? A little better? What about that? Okay. All right, so Wendy asked me to do this and she framed it in talk about change. And for me, a lot of y'all know the last year has been a lot of change for me. I've changed jobs about 3 times. I've moved about 3 times. I've left a 15-year-long relationship. My son has gone off to college all the way across the country, and I'm not living with my youngest son anymore. He's with his father. So, and honestly, change is and uncertainty is not new in my life, but this is the first time I've only had myself to worry about. I don't have the kids anymore, and it's been a big change. And on top of that, we've got all this stuff going on in the world, which I know a lot of y'all, it weighs on us, and we've had to learn how to approach our daily lives differently. So when she asked me about this, what it made me think about is how every day is different. Every day I wake up and have to ask myself, what can I handle? How am I going to handle it? And a lot of days, I've learned to say to myself that there's nothing that I have to do today. Because a lot of times we feel like we have to do things. We have so much to take care of. We have people to take care of. But a lot of days for me, it's most important just to not do that, just to sit. And I literally will go like sit in some clover and like pet plants and moss and just lay there and chill out. And it's been really great. And sometimes I feel guilty about not doing things because I'm a go-getter and I like to be there and I like to be in community. And sometimes I just don't have it in me. So like this, I knew I had this coming up. And a lot of times I thought, man, I should sit down and write something and be a little bit more structured, but that never happened. And that's okay. And I think the biggest thing I wanted to say today is that since it is Easter and we've got this theme of rebirth, I think it's really important for us all every day to wake up and just take stock of where you're at that day, not pressure yourself to show up the way you have in the past, because every day is beautiful and a chance to do things perfectly in our imperfections. And y'all are all loved and you're all beautiful. And I'm just really grateful to have this community, even if I'm not here all the time anymore. And it's a little harder to get here from Water Valley every week. Y'all are on my heart, and we got this, all right?
Thank you so much for that. And once again, I'd like to invite Sebastian forward. We're gonna do the middle row this time, and I'd like each person who receives an egg to open it, reflect on what's inside. For those of you still waiting, once again, your job is to wait and to notice the waiting, to consider what it is to sit with uncertainty, perhaps some doubt, to not be one of those who has received. And for those of you who have already received, your job is to use what you've received. What more might you do with it? What other moments or passing wisps of insight have drifted your way as you wait with what you already have? Yeah. So this is my part. In the fall of 2001, Andy and I had just started grad school. We had just returned from 2 years living in Russia's Far East while we served in the Peace Corps, and we had just found out that we were going to be. We hadn't expected it, but we were excited. I felt a deep joy take root inside me. Wherever I was that fall, that joy was there, giving a special glow to every day. A feeling that every ordinary thing I did, eating, walking, listening to music, was now full of meaning. I had a new life inside me, a new person who needed nourishing, who needed me to be healthy, who would join us and make everything, music, art, flowers, laughing, make everything more and better. Everything that fall was ordinary and everything was a miracle. So toward the end of the first trimester, when we learned there was no heartbeat, that there would be no baby in the spring, I couldn't see a way to suddenly stop being pregnant. I couldn't understand how I could choose to simply have a medical procedure and walk away unpregnant. Something that had taken so long to build inside me, something I had cherished, shouldn't just in a brief moment on an operating table be undone so easily. For me, it seemed right then to choose the uncertainty and the pain of a miscarriage, to let my body take care of itself in a way it was designed to do when it was ready and without grace. My midwife understood my choice and explained what would come next. And over that winter, I learned some things. The miscarriage came and it went, and then it came back again. My body was not ready to give up. I ended up in the operating room after all. My heart and my body grieved together. And I learned that winter that grief is a heavy hole that you just keep carrying. It's there all the time, and other people usually can't see it. March came, gray and dirty, like it always is in New England. But there were crocuses here and there. And finally spring arrived, and the year went on. And then the following year, just when the daffodils had opened, our Gwen was born. On the morning before she was born, I woke up in labor. We went to work to distract ourselves, you know, like you do. One of our professors was an old guy, probably in his late 40s, like I am now. He was old. He gave me a knowing look and he said he could tell by my eyes that the baby would be with us very soon. I didn't say anything. But by evening, the contractions had gotten painful and closer together, and we were giddy like kids on Christmas Eve, pacing around the apartment, trying to figure out what to do with ourselves. Around 11 that night, we decided it was time to go to the hospital. They had cable there, we thought, and that would give us something to do. All that night, my labor went on. I walked, I crouched, I lay on my side, but then back labor set in. And even Andy's clenched fist against my lower back was not enough to help. It hurt more than anything I had imagined. So instead, I imagined the moon and the ocean working together to pull the pain this way and that inside me, forces bigger than me, beyond me, filling me, connected to me. They knew what they were doing, I told myself, even if I didn't. I told myself that all the mothers before me had experienced this, that their strength was my strength, that this was all just normal. I told myself that my strength didn't even matter, that it was okay if I was just tired and not sure I was up to it all, because my body would simply go on and do whatever was necessary. I sunk deep down into the core of myself until all I could see was each moment, each surge in that darkness. And I trusted it would end when it was time to end. Every moment, I had to remind myself to keep trusting. And every so often, a nurse would enter the room and tell me I was starting out well. And a part of me that was still out in the world would laugh a little after hours and hours of this starting out well, and I'd bite my tongue and behave myself. It was a long night, and I had time to think of lots of choice replies for that nurse. Just at dawn, though, something changed. And for one thing, the nursing shift changed, which was very helpful. But also, I just knew it was time, and Andy did too. The night nurse didn't believe him when he told her, but the morning nurse did. It seemed to take forever, but also it happened all at once. Andy held me. The midwife complimented my new haircut. Another surge came and went. I told her where I got my haircut. And then there was another surge, and then there was the baby. Wow, what a big head. And look at those shoulders, said the midwife. Our daughter, a stranger I had never seen before, but whose life I had shared for a few brief months. I don't think until that moment I'd fully understood what it meant to have the gift of a body, to be my own physical self, able to do so much, to rely on it, but also to realize that myself was limited, was a thing just like other things on this earth with a beginning and an end. I hadn't understood what it was to be able to bring a new person, an entire stranger into the world to walk alongside me. But it happens every day. It's ordinary, and it's a miracle. We have talked today about the gathering of manna, the care not to take too much, to wait to have that candy, to trust that we'll meet tomorrow prepared with all we need, and that it will be enough, that we ourselves connected to one another and to the world are enough. So please join me for our final opening, our final planting of the heart. Once again, everyone locate yourselves in the moment. Sebastian's definitely paying attention. He's going to come forward and grab the basket. Openers of eggs, consider what it is you're receiving. And for those who hold what you have already gathered, what can you observe about your mind as you sit with the knowledge that no more is coming to you? This is the end. That maybe this is enough. So now, find ourselves at the end of the service. I'm going to ask Susan to come forward to release our flame. I'll read. Dan got me turned on to Tagore on a Tagore phase last week, so I'm reading his poem, Light. Light, my light, the world-filling light, the eye-kissing light, heart-sweetening light. The light dances, my darling, at the center of my life. The light strikes, my darling, the chords of my love. The sky opens, the wind runs wild, laughter passes over the earth. The butterflies spread their sails on the sea of light. Lilies and jasmines surge up on the crest of the waves of light. The light is shattered into gold on every cloud, my darling, and it scatters gems in profusion. Mirth spreads from leaf to leaf, my darling, and gladness without measure. The heavens' river has drowned its banks, and the flood of joy is abroad. And now for our final hymn, I'm going to suggest that maybe we impose upon Dan to play the melody of We'll Build a Land, which is very familiar, and I think we're capable. Would that be okay? Let's do that. We'll Build a Land. I'm gonna find it real quick for you. Improv, it's the name of the game today. We're gonna find it. I'm looking it up real quick. 121. Thank you. Alright, so. And now we'll share in our congregational blessing. Our words we say together are, go in peace, believe in peace, create peace, be peace. Thank you, everyone.